Hello friends, welcome to today's daily devotion as we're continuing to build our theology of the body. And today and this week we're going to be looking at scriptures that help us to understand God's intention around singleness and friendship. So today we're reading from the Gospel of Mark, starting in Mark chapter 12, reading verses 18 through 25. Hear now these words. Then the Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to Jesus with a question. "Teacher," they said, "Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies and leaves a wife but no children, the man must marry the widow and raise up offspring for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first one married and died without leaving any children. The second one married the widow, but he also died, leaving no child. It was the same with the third. In fact, none of the 7 left had any children. Last of all, the woman died too. At the resurrection, whose wife will she be, since the 7 were married to her?" Jesus replied, "Are you not in error because you do not know the scriptures or the power of God? When the dead rise, they will neither marry nor be given in marriage. They will be like the angels in heaven." Don't you just love hypothetical questions? These are those questions that are intended to get somebody to be thinking about something, or possibly to try to trick them into saying something that you can then pounce on and say, "Aha, I gotcha." Well, that's pretty much what these Sadducees were attempting to do with Jesus. They were trying to trap Jesus in a hypothetical question and get him to say something that they could say, "Aha, you don't quite understand theologically the way you are supposed to, and we'll be able to call you out on that." And the reason we know this is because, as Mark describes it, is they come to him with a question, but these are the people who don't believe in resurrection, and their question is all about resurrection. And Jesus makes it clear that they have no clue what they're talking about. Jesus, first of all, does 2 things in his answer. He rejects their hypothetical completely, because he says there is a resurrection and you guys don't think there is one. And when the resurrection happens, there will not be marriage at all. Now for us, this is like a, whoa, did he really just say that there's no marriage at all? And those of us who are married are kind of like, well, I like my spouse. I want to keep that special relationship with her or with him. And so Jesus is giving us something rather surprising. But what this is also pointing us to is the fact that those who are in this life, not in a marriage, they are experiencing a special gift from God that allows them to right now be already projecting what will be for us all at some point. You see, those of us who are believers in Jesus, when the full realization of the kingdom comes, when the resurrection happens, there won't be marriage in the human sense anymore, because we will be part of the church and we will be married to Christ. Now, how that gets lived out in any kind of detail is a great mystery, but those who are single in this life now are pointing us towards that reality, because those of us who are married are going to be experiencing something that those who aren't married have already been experiencing. So instead of looking down on a person who's not married as somehow missing out, maybe those of us who are married should be looking at them and thinking we're perhaps, maybe, missing out. Or the reality is that each of us are able to point to a different aspect of the greatness of our God, and we shouldn't look down or up at each other based on a marital status at all. We'll unpack this more in the rest of the week, but in the meantime, may you be pointing towards Jesus. And I'll see you tomorrow for another daily devotion.